Okay, now, there's some good in this.
Oh, I like that outfit.
You know, we didn't even Photoshop this. I don't know if you guys.
Perfect.
Yeah,
that's just a weekend for me.
Yeah, that's just yeah. It's called Dean at the Ghost Ranch, which we, there was some damage, but we're still looking good. So that trigger finger though, very quick. All right, the bad, yeah, there's some bad in this, and there can be some ugly too. Let's start with the good and the scenarios that we're going to see over the next few days. First of all, let's talk steering flow. If you remember last week, we talked about winds a little higher in the atmosphere were very light, and so therefore there was nothing to push the storms along. That's not the case this week. We have a pretty good steering flow, and storms are moving through at about 20-25 miles an hour or so. So that's a positive in the setup that we have over the next couple of days. On the bad side of this thing, if you end up in a scenario, because we're so wet with the ground, where one storm after another comes over you, even though the storms are moving quickly, that can lead to major league problems, which gets us to the ugly, and that's the flooding. If we end up with some of these thunderstorms which train over the same area, or we just happen to have some bad luck with a few storms passing over the same area, given how wet we are, that's our real flooding concern. So we've got some things working in our favor with the speed of the storms, but obviously given how wet we are, we have some concerns too. Now, as far as what's going on right now, not much here in the city, but notice what's going on up around Grants. We've got a line of showers and storms coming in from the west, so don't be surprised in the metro area if during the overnight hours we crank up some more showers. Places like Gallup are now starting to end up in the clear, but a nice setup over the Continental Divide for storms continues to work its way to the east. If you're down in Silver City, you've been pelted by heavy rain here and some hail over the past couple of hours. That's going to start to back off, but all of this is going to move into Sierra County throughout the night tonight. So we've still got some action out there, and today was supposed to be a down day, more of an update tomorrow. 73 degrees in the metro, northeast winds right now at 8 miles an hour. Temperatures to the north, 50s and 60s, some 70s out to the east, and then down to the south, temperatures 60s, 70s, and low 80s. Decent moisture over the area right now, and you can sort of see some of the features that we're watching. There's an area of low pressure over California. That's going to help set up the monsoon flow pattern in earnest for tomorrow. So what will happen is a little game of bumper cars. As the low starts to slide in from the west, the high shifts over into Texas, and that sets up that southerly flow over the state. This is more of a classic monsoon flow pattern, which will stay in place through at least Friday, it looks like, before we start to see the atmosphere dry out a little bit. But I still think the weekend is going to be fairly wet. And we started to look into El Nino, and the numbers look incredibly impressive for the next 6 months, it looks like. So sea surface temperatures, which is what we watch here in the equatorial Pacific, if you go back to 2010, that was our last big El Nino. We've been pretty cool since then with a couple of La Ninas, but now we're starting to see those temperatures skyrocket in the equatorial Pacific. Well, how hot do they have to be? What does it mean? Well, if you're above a half a degree above average or more, you're in an El Nino. Well, look at these numbers. 1.4 for this month, 1.5 projected next month. All the way into the fall. These are huge numbers. This is a very powerful El Nino, which looks like it's going to stay in place through a good portion of winter. So that would mean widespread rain will continue. Flooding will be a bigger concern than drought over the next 6 to 7 months. This could be a very good scenario across the board for New Mexico to at least push off drought for a while. I still think we have long-term drought concerns, but I think we're going to eliminate it across the state in the short term. And fall and winter looks very good for snowpack. Let's go region by region. Another good round of rain tomorrow across southern Colorado with temperatures in the 70s and 80s. Meanwhile, out to the northwest, increasing afternoon rain, 84. Farmington, 82 in Grants, and 81 out in Gallup. Across the southwest, after storms tonight, you guys will get a little break during the morning hours, and then we'll crank them up again later on in the afternoon. Sun and clouds with scattered storms across the southeast. Temps in the low 90s. Roswell and Artesia up to the northeast. Increasing clouds. Good chance at showers. Mora 75. Springer 84. And Santa Rosa 89. Northern mountains will continue to be a firing point for storms. We saw some today. We're going to see more tomorrow. I think you're going to see them through the weekend too. Out to the east mountains. Partly sunny with afternoon storms. A very good bet. And all the way into the front half of the weekend. Out to the metro, clouds increase with afternoon rain showers. And that chance for afternoon rain rolls through the next 2 to 3 days. So just watch out in those flood-prone areas. The good times keep rolling.
Unbelievable. All right, thank you, Mark.